Sounds good.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, laying in bed last night, I thought about something I wanted to tell you before we started this.
Sure.
Because I watched the recording last night in bed.
Me
How's
too. I
that for
did too.
going to bed time? So anyway, something came up. I don't remember it now. I'm too tired now to remember what it was. So anyway, um do you mind if I think about it as we're going along for me to mention it, or
Not a
do we want
problem.
to?
This is
Okay.
absolutely fine.
Okay.
I'm delighted that we're doing this.
Yeah, well, I figured we needed to record it. So practice, 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 right? Oh,
To the extent that we
I
can.
need to bring up the PowerPoint, right?
I would appreciate if you
Yeah.
could. And I thank you for the trouble of doing that.
Okay. Oh, I need to have permission.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So you know what? Let me see if I can make you co-host. I'm making you a co-host.
Okay.
1 second, 1 second.
Yeah, I don't see it yet.
It's not giving me the option of making you co-host, so I'm switching host to you. And I guess if I need to do something, you'll switch host back to me, whatever.
All right, and
Oh,
we're already recording, right?
yeah, we're
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. Um, let me do that. All righty.
Okay, that worked good so far. Thank you.
Okay. And so
Okay. Hello, everyone.
hold on. I haven't started the slideshow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And once I start the slideshow, give me a second to
Sure.
get the pointer set up, because I can't start the pointer until the slideshow is going. And I'm not really super happy that I only have one option. Can you see it now? This red
I do
dot?
see it.
Okay, I'm not super happy that I only have one color, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, on with the show.
Yeah, and I apologize for the fact that my phone is ringing in the background. It's one of those spam calls. They're gonna they're gonna ask me every day if I'm registered to vote. Okay, so we've got to have comic relief here. So okay, everyone. Hopefully, no more distractions or interruptions. Thank you all for coming to our presentation and welcome. This is the presentation called Snap It, and we're going to present how to, for you to learn how to take great pictures of your art using your smartphone, both Android and iPhone, with Judith Berman, that's me, and Tara Sue Saluso, um, that's you. And I thank you for being here.
You might not want to say that's you because you're talking to them. Okay. All right. It's not letting me click. It's not letting me scroll. All right. Let me get rid of the pointer and see if that's a problem. Yep. It's the pointer. Dang it. All right. Sorry. Um,
Okay,
and
so
here you are, the pictures of your presenters, Tara Sue, Saluso, and the lovely Judith Behrman.
yes, welcome everyone.
Hold
Okay,
on, hold on. Each screen, I'm going to have to go in and select the pointer. All right, go ahead.
the first things to consider when taking photos of your art. What is the purpose of the photograph? How will you be using it in the future? Will it be used for art submissions, posting on a website, print in a flyer or brochure, greeting cards or postcards, large format printing, or maybe a combination of more than one of those? The end goal helps influence how you set up your camera before you take the shot. And it's a good idea to anticipate that you may be wanting to use your photos from this photo shoot opportunity to have more than one purpose. So maybe take a variety of different shots and hopefully take out your phones and your art pieces and let's do some of the trial and error as we go through.
I hate that I have to do this every time. It's going to be time away from the presentation. Setting up your art. Lighting is one of the most important steps when setting up. Arrange the lighting coming from both sides at an approximate 45-degree angle whenever possible. Don't light from the front to avoid shadows of you taking the picture and hot spots on the art. Don't light from behind to avoid causing a silhouette of your art. It can't be fixed in post-production. You can use whiteboards on each side to help bounce the light on the art. Do not use a flash. Use a tripod if you have one. When using a tripod, the timer feature on your phone camera can protect against wiggles when taking the picture. It's best to remove the glass or plastic as well as the frame from your art. The glass can cause a reflection, and the frame takes up space in post-production. If possible, take a picture of your art before you put any finish on that will create a reflective surface.
Setting up art continued. Adjust your phone so that it is parallel to the art. Make sure your flash is off. Focus on the center of the art and keep the image tightly inside the grid edge guides to avoid any distortion. Do not use a wide angle. Zoom in when you can. It's best to place your art against a dark background. When photographing art created on paper, it is important to ensure that it doesn't curl or it will distort the image. Also ensure that the paper isn't bent, crinkled, or have any creases. And I just wanted to mention that these are our objectives. And in reality, not all of us follow all the rules, even though we know better.
I'm sorry.
The camera setup is very different to
Hold
the
on a
end.
second.
Oh,
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm sorry.
For each side, give a little bit of time for me to set up the pointer,
I
and
apologize.
that'll also give them time to kind of wrap their brain around what you're doing. Okay, on with the show.
Okay, the camera setup is very different for the Android and the iPhone. Here is the process. Here is the process on an Android. In the first um, shot, we have the camera icon circled, and that's that on your Android smartphone. You find your camera icon because that camera icon is the same on all the devices, and you click on it. Um, and then you select the camera icon on your phone, and after that, you select the settings, that button on for the icon. And on my particular device, it's located in the lower left-hand corner, and that's where the button I click to get to settings. And once I click that button, it brings up two panels, and I address both panels. The first one is the panel for general settings called general panel, and it brings you to operational settings. And the second panel is called the Pro panel, and that's on my uh, Google Pixel 8 Pro. And so it's the Pro panel for the 8 Pro, and it adjusts the resolution option. And it allows me here to at that particular button at the that first selection choice. The default was 12 uh, megapixels, but if you go to high res, it'll upgrade it to 50 megapixels, and for the most part, I keep it on the default, but there are reasons why sometimes you don't want it. Sometimes you don't necessarily need to have it on high res. If you're just taking normal everyday life operational pictures, you just remember that when you have high res, it takes a longer time to load up those pictures. You may not be able to bring them up in every situation. You may not be able to even include them in an email attachment if they're really big. And so sometimes you want to keep it at the low default, but sometimes for the purpose of art, for the purpose of your website and your art submissions, you want to have it at the high res. Thank you.
Okay, this is one of the slides that I wanted to comment on. So in
Okay.
this section here where you're talking about selecting your camera, and even today you talked about selecting the camera icon 3 times, I think it was. It might have even been more times on the previous recording. So I think you want to be careful in just talking about selecting the camera icon on your phone and moving on. Um, I don't think you need to reiterate it again and again.
Thank
And
you.
then,
I do appreciate that. And I do, that's like um, part of my undiagnosed Tourette syndrome, that I sometimes speak before I think, and um, I will try to restrain from repeating and saying unnecessarily during the presentation. I apologize.
that's all right. That's what this practicing is all about, right? And then you state that it brings up 2 panels. So I just want to ask you, when you select the settings, does it bring up these 2 panels side by side? Or does it bring up this one panel that says general, and then you select pro to see what is on this second panel?
Well, okay, you can see one slide at a time.
Yeah.
When and
Okay.
you tap on general to get general, and then when you're on general, tap on pro to get pro, and you can flip flop back and forth between each other.
Okay, so I think that that's what you need to say is that because if they're expecting to see both panels side by side and they don't, they're going to be confused. So, say it opens the general panel that you can, change the settings here for general and then to, just to address the megapixels of your art, go to pro, and then, I'll talk about do this here. You can say the default is 12 and that you can select 50 resolution. Uh, they have cautioned us, and I don't know that you remember this or not, but they have cautioned us about talking about the resolution of other things and like having reduced resolution for your website for loading and I think you brought up a really good point in and emailing, but they want us to focus on them taking high resolution art. So, how I've articulated it is that for the purpose of the art studio or the art gallery and studio, they want to focus on us taking high resolution art.
Okay, point well taken.
All righty. So I have to get out of here again. What a
Sorry.
dread. Um, oh no, that's not you. It's whatever. Okay. And here is the camera setup process on the iPhone. To begin, you're going to select settings on the home screen of your camera, if you have it there. Then it's going to open this settings page. You're going to need to scroll down quite a ways because they have it tucked down in the music section. You'll find camera right in that section. All right, I said that poorly. Then when it'll open up the camera section and you're going to want to go to formats. The first thing you're going to want to choose is most compatible. This will allow your art to be used in various places outside in the world without it having to be manipulated further. Then you're going to want to select photo mode. That's going to open this panel, which is going to allow you to choose between 12 megapixels and 24 megapixels. The 12 will be the default, and the 24 is the highest resolution that I have on my phone. The highest resolution in iPhones is 48 megapixels, and that's on the newest model that they have out. Sorry, someone's at my door.
No problem.
Okay. You're safe. Tripped over my own cane. Okay. And I think this is where I said that for the purposes of and so I might say it here again, as Judith said, for the purposes of the Fountain House Gallery and Studio, we are focusing on using the highest resolution when taking image photographs of our art. And here are more settings for setting up your camera. The iPhone has a lot of detail that you can select, uh, which is, I don't know, a downfall or not. All right, I'm not saying that. Blah, blah, blah. Right below formats is preserve settings. And if you come all the way over to the right in the highlighted box in blue, you'll find all of those settings. The preserve settings are settings that run in the background at all times. So if you're working on a project such as taking photographs at night, you'll want to activate night mode. And that will set it so that every time you go to take a picture, it's going to be in night mode rather than you having to go back into settings and select night mode. It's going to automatically be there. And then when you're done doing night mode pictures, you're going to come in to preserve settings and shut that off again. So you'll want to consider that for any of these settings that you have here. And for example, I have depth control, exposure adjustment, portrait zoom, resolution control, and live photo. You can look at those to determine what you want to have for yourself. Also here on the camera slide, down below in composition, I have it up here, circled in red, is the composition. It includes grid, level, mirror front camera, and view outside the frame. All of these are very important and you'll want to have them selected. The grid creates that frame when you're taking the photo that you're going to want to line up your art within that grid. It helps you maintain good resolution of your art. The level establishes a very thin yellow line that appears when your camera is level. So if your art is level, if it's like flat against a wall, for example, you'll be able to use the level feature on your camera to align with your art. If it's tilted against an easel or against a wall, for example, the level feature won't apply. And then viewing outside the frame is really important because it helps you better recognize what's inside the frame. You can look here in these sections to also determine what you want to have selected to better support the features on your phone.
Okay. Did I wait long enough? Oh, you have the pointer. Okay.
I'm not going to do the pointer on this one because it's just saying that it's before edit.
Okay. The final editing on your phone. This is before edit on the Android and on the iPhone. This is how it looks before you start to do that little bit of editing that we all do. I honestly don't remember if there was anything that I want to show on the bottom here. I don't think so.
No, we weren't showing anything on the bottom. I might refer to this circle here. I know last time I bounced back to this slide, but I might just bounce back to it. But yeah, I think you were just saying that this is what it looks like before edit. On the iPhone, you have an option of being able to straighten your image. Oh, I can't bounce back to the other one. All right, I might talk about it before. And this, when you select this uh, icon here, it allows you to slightly tip or drastically tip your image from one side to the other to allow it to fit within the frame so that when you crop it, it crops right to the painting. Here, directly to the right of that, is an icon that allows you to tip the art up and back. And the one to the far right allows you to tip your art from the side to the left and the right. You want to be very careful when using these two features, as if it is a drastic tip in any of those directions, it can distort your art. This is what that icon looks like before it's selected. It's the circle with a line through it. And here it's I have it already engaged. This is you.
Yes. Okay. On this page, we look at the change orientation icon, and that's when on the Android when you click crop, and then that's on my particular Google Pixel phone, and it's very similar on other Androids because I've looked at the Samsung Galaxy phones and some of the other phones. It's all similar. Basically, when you click on crop, you can rotate and change it from horizontal to vertical. So with that little half circle with the arrow, you touch it and you can take it 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, and flip the whole picture around. Um, and on the iPhone, uh, that feature is in the upper left-hand corner.
I think when you're talking about the that you've looked at other phones, I think you should just say that it is similar on other phones without going into looking at the various options.
Okay. Okay, so now,
This is me.
oh, okay.
When selecting to crop on the Android, you select the crop button, and then on the icon to the left, you can select it to manually crop your painting, crop to your painting. And on the right side, you can select that icon to magically select to or crop to your painting. This is one of the marvelous features that Android, uh-oh, oh, we've got 10 minutes, so that's good, that Android has available. And on the iPhone, you select this crop button down here, and it allows you to uh, use the guide to crop to your art.
So after editing, um, these are the pictures that how it looks after the basic editing, and there's some post-production options that we're going to show you in the next few slides.
That's what I'm reading on the next slide about post-production. So you'll just comment about this is what we've done so far in editing using the basic tools on our iPhone or on the Android and the iPhone. Because I talk about post-production. Other post-production editing tools also differ between the Android and the iPhones, as well as between different models. We encourage exploring the options on your phone to see what features you like best.
On the Android, when needed, I use the brightness, contrast, and saturation to bring out colors and depths. There's a little slide that I can shift to the left and right for each of those adjusting options for brightness, for contrast, and for saturation. And by trying out and shifting from left to right, I find that I can make my colors more vivid. I can sharpen, and I can make it more vivid and adjust the temperature and to bring out the colors in depth. So it's something, you know, that I find worthwhile to explore as the post-production adjustment options.
On the iPhone, when needed, I use exposure, brilliance, and contrast to bring out the colors and depth. Here on exposure, you'll see I've selected 45 degrees to the right. And as Judith said, we can use the slide to the left and the right to choose the numbers that we want to have. In brilliance, I've selected 50 to the right. Oh, here on the exposure, you can see how it's brought out the depth, and the brilliance, it's brought out lightness. And in contrast, I've brought it all the way to the 100 to the right. So you can see how much contrast you can create in your art using this feature. This is an extreme example, which I would not likely use, but I wanted to show you how much contrast you can obtain.
Okay, we hope you enjoyed this presentation, and now let's open it to questions and answers. And if you have, if you want us to work with you on your phones and art pieces, we can do some case examples.
We will also have this recording, the PowerPoint presentation, and a resource guide that Judith developed on the professional development portal that you can access at any time. Mary will send out an email to all of you once the recording has been posted.
You know what? We did good, and I'm hoping that we will have a good recording from this practice session. Would it be okay if we end and I can find the recording and then send it to us?
Yeah.
Thank you, and I do appreciate it. And I'll see you at 5.